Good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, March the 20th, also known as the first day of spring 2019. You listen to Radio Free Radford.com. If you haven't done so already, we are on social media. And you're curious to say, where can we find you at? We are on Facebook at Radio Free Radford. Like us and follow us there. And on Instagram, you can follow us at Radio Free Radford and Radio Free Raddy. That's R-A-D-D-Y. You can tweet us and hashtag us and DM us if you have an interest of a show, maybe, or planning to put your own podcast together. What this basically is, and that's what I do here every morning, basically, producing a podcast daily, and pretty much the only staff here on the web. If you check out the website on RadioFreeRadford.com, I'm the only staff person here that does a show every single day, and enjoy all of it, what I can do. I'm pull up the schedule, let you know who's coming up here today on this Wednesday. It's let's see here. We've got trying to find some folks here. Susan Dorr, her show's from 3 to 3:30. I think that is a bit. Let's see. No, there's not. We've got our new staffers here from Andrew Schwartz from 2 to 2:30. Then it's Susan Dorr from 3 to 3:30, and then Garrett Ludwin talks about movie making and a lot of stuff for sure. Maybe I might make an appearance on his show later on this evening. So we'll see how that works out. And then I'll be back with you tomorrow. So that's the schedule here on RadioFreeRadford.com. You can check the entire full list of who is on what days, on what timing on their show at RadioFreeRadford.com. Just click under our host tab. Alrighty, the weather this morning here, we saw some chilly conditions as you woke up. If you had any early morning classes like I do every day, 8 a.m. every day. It's a joy, I tell you. And it is. And happy first day of spring to you. 57. It's going to feel like spring finally. Partly sunny skies. We'll see clouds sort of increasing later tonight. We have the possibility of seeing a little bit of rain moving in the area as temperatures will be above freezing, so we have that to not to worry about any frozen precipitation today or tomorrow rather as well. We could have a few. It's a clipper. It's a coastal storm that's pretty much riding up along the eastern seaboard, and there's a front coming in with it. So those are going to be kind of merging together, but what's going to happen, there's going to be this weird dry slot in the middle of this central Virginia Piedmont area where they don't pick up anything. Maybe a few sprinkles here or there, maybe a few quarters, tenths here. That's where pretty much we're anticipating for that. So anyway, folks south and east of the 81 and Blue Ridge, we'll be seeing just a few scattered light rain showers. People west of the Blue Ridge, this is going to be one of these weird days. You'll see what I'm talking about when this happens tomorrow. Along the Parkway and west, we'll be seeing a couple of few rain showers. Now, along the coasts of Virginia, they're going to be picking up a lot of heavy rain out there. So it's just going to be moving on up, and then it's going to be going out to sea. So there you go. That's the way that works out for sure. And speaking of weather, of course, it is pollen season. It's now in the air. If you have been sniffing, and having some allergic, a lot of the pollen is blooming on these buds and trees. The main primary concern is birch and juniper, and those are pretty much the name of the pollen that forms on these bushes and trees that out there. Of course, everything hasn't been full and bloomy yet here in Radford, but elsewhere across the state of Virginia, it is like that, especially south and east of this area, where it's been a lot warmer, obviously, since we're in the mountains. It's a little bit cooler here, a lot warmer east and where you go towards central Piedmont and northern parts of eastern Virginia and southeastern Virginia as well. Here in Radford, we're going to be consistently seeing a medium to high range of pollen between 8 and 10 to about Friday. It will spike up about 11 on Friday, but then Saturday and Sunday it will be at a 10. Of course, with the cloud cover tomorrow, it's going to kind of stay low on the medium side, but it will still be very warm on the higher end. Because of that, this is from AccuWeather. Now, you've heard me say back earlier in my podcast episodes that AccuWeather is never accurate, but they do produce some good news articles, content. I do look at those every now and then. They've released their spring allergy forecast for the United States, showing parts of Virginia. We're in a high range, lasting between now and like late April will be the very peak season of this pollen. So they're saying, this is for AccuWeather, the start of pollen season may be delayed a week or two in both the regions. That includes the southeast, the northeast, even parts of the northwest and Midwest. We'll talk about that region where they've been seeing some significant flooding here lately. And they're going to be seeing a medium moderate range Parts of the Northeast, Midwest, and further westward are a low to moderate range of developing pollen out there. So later April, you'll be seeing this pollen, mid-April, I should say, between now and mid-April, you will see the pollen effect. So here's some ways you can kind of avoid it. I guess I should say there's some symptoms for this. You need to kind of stay inside in the morning hours. Now you're saying, Dustin, I got class. Well, absolutely, but you're not outside, but maybe 5-10 minutes walking distance. If you're working between the hours of 5 and 10 a.m., that is the high peak of when pollen is dominant. Of course, the sunrise until about when the sun is just about at the center of the sky, right around noontime. That's when the pollen is the heaviest out there. So the best time to go outside is when a really, really heavy rain comes through, which we haven't seen that in about almost a week almost. And that's kind of a good thing because we need to dry out. But at the same time, it kind of cleanses the atmosphere out and gets it out here. So after a heavy rain, it's the best time to see that because it washes this pollen out of the air. Keep the indoors clean. Avoid mold getting around your windowsills. Those is where the very primary concern of where pollen forms and mold gets in those windowsills. You got to be careful without it, especially on those high-rise ceilings. When there's a big gust of wind that comes through, it throws that pollen against the windowsills there, especially on the lower ends right there too, where they're a little bit closer to the ground and very, very high tops. So you got to keep your house clean as well as your car windows. That's where the higher accumulating pollen is apt to be found. You can brush it off, they say, but then again, you brush it off, it's just going to come right back on the car. So you got to be careful with that. So what you need to do is kind of buy these filters that keeps the indoor atmosphere, your inside a car, in the house, where it keeps it clean and kind of gets that, clean atmosphere smell to the air. This is by HEPA, which is the Mayo Clinic suggests using a portable high-efficiency particle air or HEPA filter in your bedroom and vacuuming it often. So vacuuming, spring cleaning, now's the time to get that out there and get the hose from the vacuum cleaner. Get it between those windowsills and those window small parts you really don't think about, but that's where they accumulate. Avoid certain foods. This is what they're saying. People have got these allergic reactions real bad here lately. Over the last several years, it seems to be the concern of people are having trouble with allergies eating raw and fresh fruit, so that's something to worry about. For example, some patients with very allergic to birch and the tree pollen get an itchy mouth when they first eat those fresh apples off the tree. So be careful if you're going out on the apple orchard. I know it's that time of year things are blooming. Kind of be careful, kind of dust it off maybe, and then wash it would be better. But cooked apples, like an apple pie, don't cause the symptoms, they say. And of course, carry a little allergy relief kit with you, eye drops and nasal spray. Kind of gets the decongestion can helps the season more pleasant experience. I know a lot of people, when they have an allergic reaction, they have to carry these EpiPens as well, and kind of calm them down from their overreacting from that. So anyway, that's from AccuWeather. I know I went on a rant earlier in the season last semester about how non-accurate they are. But they do produce some great content articles, so you can go check them out. I think they do on a personal reference. So anyway, that's your pollen. That's why that's out there. Pollen season's now until about mid to late June. Normally, that's the typical season for. But between now and late April is when it really gets full in gear. We still have pollen to June and July, and then of course by the fall time we get the fall pollen. But that's normally a real low dominant of that. So there you go. Your quote of the day, we do have Bruce Lee coming into action this morning. The successful warrior is the advantaged man with a laser-like focus. So there you go. That's by Bruce Lee. Your word of the day is canker, and it's to become more infested with the erosive or spreading sores, and to basically it means to become corrupted. Okay, there's your word of the day. We'll leave it as that. Now, today is the official start of spring. It's the spring equinox, or equinox, however you want to say it, equinox. We'll talk about that since it is weather-related here on Radio Free Radford. It starts at 5:58 this evening. Parts at, let's see, we'll have to go an hour behind. This is near the Mississippi River Valley. It'd be 4:58. Parts of the mid-Rocky Plains states would be at 3:58. Parts out in the west would be 2:58. Okay, and then Hawaii, I think it's 5 hours behind time, so it'd be about 1 o'clock. So here in the next few hours in Hawaii, this time, but technically it's about 5 o'clock in the morning there, so they still got a few hours for that to happen, but soon it will be the new start of the spring. Fall, the southern hemisphere will be in fall. We will be in the spring in the northern hemisphere. So it basically Latins out to equinox is what equinox means. It's when the sun sits vertically above the equator, making day and night equal across the planet. The spring equinox officially marks the beginning of the northern hemisphere, what I just said. Celebrations around the world usher in longer days and longer springtime. You get the longer night hours, or shorter night hours. Longer night hours, but shorter hours in the early morning daylight. As you know, it will be getting a sunrise about 5:30, 6:15 here the next couple of weeks. So you can do that. You can bring some flowers in your home. But again, if you are allergic, be careful that you won't be bringing pollen in your house. And before you do so, clean that out. Daffodils and tulips are now in season. Or you can buy a little plant that keeps your window, crocus plant. You can get one of those. Of course, they say, and call your mom. So in the Arab countries, the spring equinox is the day to appreciate the mother. So this is like a Mother's Day for the Arabian folks out there in Arab. And so you can take it a further step by sending her flowers, celebrate the first day of spring. And a lot of you see these animals that come out of the yard, and like the chipmunks and squirrels and all those out there, spring is here for sure. Birds are chirping, flowers are blooming, trees are budding, all the type of stuff. And of course, something else they call it detoxing. You can call it the spring cleaning. Excuse me, for a reason. Spring also gives us a chance to clean out our bodies before summer swimsuit season. You know what I'm talking about out there. So there you go. And let's see what else is going on today. It's also National Proposal Day. So if you're thinking of getting married today, pull that ring out and do it professionally, I should say. And of course, it is National Native HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. I think we discussed this a little bit earlier in the our previous episodes. And of course, today is the day to prevent that National Native HIV AIDS Awareness Day. There are several groups out there that try to prevent the disease from spreading. Of course, you can get tested, which is a great opportunity to make sure that you're not HIV positive. You want to be negative. You don't want to be never positive, because it's never a good thing to have these diseases with you. So again, it's never always get tested in it, and of course it kind of helps to decrease the stigma associated with this. So the history began back in 2006 by the National Native CBA Network presented a resolution to the National Congress of National Congress of American Indians, and it was approved. The first National Native HIV Awareness Day was held in 2007, and of course you can visit nnaapc.gov for more information for talk about the spreading awareness of why this is such an important issue. So take advantage of that and do so too. So that's a plus to all that. Coming up later here on my show this week, we do have the Student Government Association on Friday. We do have them coming up for sure. I'm trying to hear back from the men's basketball team. I haven't heard a response back from them working on that. May take a visit to RU Athletics and see what's going on. Maybe we get somebody on for the coaches and some a couple of the players as well. And on next Tuesday, we'll have our veteran gentleman back on here, Mark Shelton, for the Student Veteran Association. As you know, they are doing a muck run later in April, so we'll have them coming up on next Tuesday, talk about that as well. And maybe we'll have some RU Outdoors back on here. They said they had several events planned later on this year. We'll kind of get them back on and see what they're going to be up to. So we'll see about that. And we do have possibly the Salou Garden Club here at Radford University. So it's a garden club. They're staying out. This is off campus. You go off of exit, forget the name of this exit here, exit 109, that's what it is. And go off one of the side roads and you see the Salou Garden place and conservatory. You can take a look at there and maybe have an interest in doing that. So anyway, and speaking of fraternities, we're going to start wrapping things up here. You can go check out the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, founded here on the campus of Radford University, was founded on October 2nd, 2018. So fairly new. They're going to be doing an informal meeting tonight. Business attire is required. Resume and an official transcript is needed at Heath 22 at 7:06 this evening. You can check them out. They'll be doing some more things. You can be hanging out with the bros. That's tomorrow from 5 to 7 in the Bonnie Game Room. This is just to get to know more of the fraternity. It's the Phi Zeta chapter of the Mu Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. First time I've ever said that correctly. That is a miracle to get that right. So anyway, and then we also, another one is by the Alpha Psi Sigma organization. They're going to be doing Coin Wars starting next week for all of the different fraternities. You can donate your coins to them and see what they're up to, as well as there'll be a yard show. There's the NPHC 2019 yard show located on Moffett Lawn next week, March 30th at 2 p.m. They'll be doing all that and all those coin decisions and whatever goes in a factor of getting in a fraternity. And of course, we've had several of those on the show. Hoping to get some more here. We're trying to get some sororities on here. We've had enough of. We appreciate those fraternities coming on. So trying to equal things out here so people will think, man, you're not featuring the sororities. Well, I would love to. We'll see if we get an email or some text from those folks in the next coming weeks. So we do have here left at Radio here at RadioFreeRadford.com and here at Radford University. Alrighty, folks, I done announced your schedule at the beginning. You can rewind this back to when I was saying who's coming on the show, and later on the program, I should say, and then here on my show, hopefully we'll have the SGA on Friday, Student Government Association, and then again Mark Shelton from the Student Veterans Association coming on here as well. We'll have the part 2 of my uploading yesterday's podcast uploaded later today, and then this podcast will be uploaded later this evening, so I can get things back on a normal schedule here, being a little bit all over the source, as we should say, here at the university. So welcome to college, right? As I say, it's the best time of your life. Alrighty, folks, it's enough of my time here. Hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, almost a Friday, so hang in there, folks. So right along with you. And until then, you're listening to great hits here on RadioFreeRadford.com. We'll get you back to Shawn Mendes, Lost in Japan.